And we are back for our second candidate interview of the evening. I have Jason Thompson, who is running for your circuit court judge here in White County. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Brandi.
Well, we're going to kick off this interview with just having you tell me about yourself.
Yeah. Well, I was raised on a farm north of Idaville, back when I had to do chores before school and after school. I graduated from Twin Lakes. I moved to the city, which was Monticello to me. Became a volunteer fireman. Then I became a full-time firefighter paramedic to the rank of lieutenant. And in that time frame's when I met my wife. She was a newly assigned state trooper to this area. So we met. We were married with 2 children, 16-year-old Ayana and 13-year-old Maya. I have served 1 term as the mayor of Monticello. I was also the former White County coroner while I was a full-time fireman. Currently have a general practice law office here in Monticello. I'm in the Dellinger and Dellinger building. I rent from them. And I'm running for the White County Circuit Court judge.
That's your life in a
Quick
nutshell.
Rundown, yes.
Okay. Tell us what kind of cases the judge of the circuit court will preside over.
Traditionally, it's the civil cases. So anytime you sue me or somebody's going to sue somebody else, as well as juvenile delinquency cases, the child or children in need of services, sometimes known as CHINs, or if somebody has DCS involvement, restraining orders, protective orders, probate of estates. People pass away, somebody needs to probate their estates, adoptions, guardianships. So I try to tell people basically everything except criminal matters and small claims is what currently is being heard in front of the White County Circuit Court judge.
That makes it easy. What experience and skills would you bring to the position of the next circuit court judge?
Yeah, I feel I bring a good foundation of legal knowledge as well as my administrative experience from the mayor. A lot of times a judge has to do administrative stuff as well. You're dealing with the budget. You're also dealing with the employee issues. You're dealing with the court schedule, the docketing. You're dealing with, 2 lawyers' schedules, trying to schedule a date out in advance as well. My general practice, I do a lot of things, whether it's the civil law or the family law or adoptions or criminal defense. So I don't just do criminal defense. So I already have a good little knowledge on a lot of those things as well.
Well, tell me what you think the ideal judge would be.
Well, I think any good judge has to be a multitasker. They have to have the ability to listen. I think a lot of people from what I hear, they want their judge to be fair in matters when you're dealing with the emotional things like divorce, child custody. Those can be really, really hard. Traditionally, they are because they're separating and you're involving something that's tying those people still together for a long, long time. Compassion. And I think also as well as understanding the different aspects of the citizens of White County. So the different communities. So land value or land purposes to a farmer in Idaville or in Monon or Wolcott or Chalmers Brookson area they have a different concept of their right to land than somebody does a lake house on the lake and their water. To them, traditionally, I think it's their view, it's their scenic view. Whereas out in the county, when you're having your land, you want to be able to use it to raise pigs or to grow crops. So I think also understanding the different aspects of people in the community and White County at large.
Mm-hmm. How would you prepare yourself to handle cases that you were unfamiliar with areas of the law?
Yeah. So almost every new judge will get what's called a bench book. Mm-hmm. They get those. It helps with a lot of aspects that new judges deal with on cases right at the bench, as well as the experience in the different types of gamuts, as we discussed, the cases that are actually heard in circuit court. Currently, no criminal cases are in the circuit court. One of the things I think we tend to forget about is after both lawyers have given their points of view, whether it's a custody or a civil, and they've given their arguments, traditionally the judge will ask for them to give me paperwork. So I'm going to not make a decision today, and I'm going to ask you, both sides, to give me paperwork within the next 10 or 15 days that has your statement of facts from way you see them, as well as your conclusions of law. And traditionally, those are going to be in a persuasive manner to where I want the judge to rule in my view because of this. So a judge is going to get that from both sides. Traditionally, judges will have 90 days to respond to an order on that. So you have time to read through those, look up any case law that they may have cited, look up some facts of some publication as well. So I think it's not the rush. You have the opportunity to take time and look at those. And I think we've got to remember that too.
Well, as a prospective judge candidate, what do you consider your greatest strengths and weaknesses?
That's always hard when you're asking somebody to look in a mirror, right, and say, what is good and bad about you? So I've always felt like as the coroner and a mayor, and hopefully as the judge, I've shown people that I can listen. And I have the proven leadership abilities. People trust me. I believe being the coroner previously, really compassion. I've just dealt in those situations, and you want some compassion. The hardest part sometimes, and I feel like I can do, is the willing to do the right thing, even if it's difficult. There's times where you know you need to do this, and it's going to be difficult. The hard work, I think I'm not afraid to roll up my sleeves and do hard work. Although it was terrible at the time, I have to give my dad credit for having to do the hard work out on the farm and taking care of the pigs and the cows before school and after school. Weaknesses, emotional maybe. I think as I've gotten older, I've allowed some things to bother me more than they used to when I was younger. And I tease people, that'll happen to a guy that has nothing but daughters. I think what has helped a lot, obviously, was having daughters, and then you learn how to communicate differently and how to be a little softer than what maybe you could be with a boy sometimes. So emotion, and then with that is the passion too. I think sometimes you get so passionate about something that your emotions and passion get combined, and you really gotta just not. It may not work out, but let the emotions go.
Right,
so,
right.
Sorry to blab there.
No, you're fine. We're good. In what ways have you contributed to community outside of running for office?
Yeah, so several years. It's been probably 8 to 10 years ago. I served on the United Way board for 2 terms, and actually when I was there is when we started the Great Duck Race, so that was always fun.
You started that
on
the board.
I didn't.
At the time.
The board
okay.
did. I mean,
it is
obviously,
fun. I'm not going to
anybody that knows Ellen Bartlett, she is phenomenal. But that was a neat way that we were able to start generating revenue for the White County board.
It is a good way.
Also was on the White County Memorial Hospital Foundation board prior to when the IU took it over, and it's not so local now. For many years, I coached Monticello Youth Football League. I also coached middle school football. To this day, I get a lot of young men that have grown up to be outstanding citizens. That's just fun to watch. Some of them are deputies. Some of them actually have been clients of mine in good ways, so it's been great. I've supported a lot of community projects. I've helped sponsor some baseball programs up in North White, some baseball field projects up at Buffalo, actually, when that was starting. Also, the Tornado Memorial, our family did bricks there. We've done bricks here at the Constitution Plaza project. So we've also been involved in some of those avenues, just trying to help community projects get along. I did mentor an elementary student at Woodlawn when I was mayor there as well. And one of the funnest things I get to do now is I announce the middle school and high school swim meets.
Fun.
Those have become a blast. And
so do you change your voice and put your announcer voice on?
I do. It's fun. And I allow the swimmers to pick out a name that they want me to pronounce differently for their swimmer. So it's always fun. And I enjoy that. That's the fun part.
Well, here's my last question, and one of the most important. Why do you want to be the next White County Circuit Court judge?
I think it comes down to trust. I have a willingness to serve, and I think that I can bring some ideas to what I call 3 pillars here of some programs that we keep striving for here in White County. First one everybody discusses is the opioid problem. We also have to remember that that's not just the pain kills, but also it's the fentanyl now that is being combined with the synthetic spice and the heroin. We really got to address some treatment options closer to rural communities. It's hard for people to drive 45 minutes or an hour to get some good treatment there. We need to reinvigorate, maybe redesign education for people, not just for the, as we grew up with DARE, it was the cocaine, the marijuana, and these type of things, but we really need to address the kids and the younger youth about painkillers and those types as well. Also, programs to help people build their own personal confidence and character. In the juvenile delinquency pillar, I really want to we have great mentoring programs in the elementary schools. We really need to keep moving that along into the middle school and the high school. A lot of the juvenile delinquents, I'm not picking on males, but they are males more than they are girls. These young men need something to wake up for. If they aren't waking up and going to school, then their grades are going to show for it, and they're going to get kicked out of school, and then it's going to roll along into the next criminal process. If we can give these kids something to work for, work with them on their grades so that they can at least wake up and wrestle or play football, or even, as I've talked to quite a bit of farmers, they'd love to be able to get some kids to help them work on the farm. You learn a lot of skills out on the farm, whether it's impromptu fixing things or hard work. Encourage those kids to finish K through 12 schools. And then in the other pillar, not so much physically seen, but is technology in the courtrooms. I think right now it's kind of difficult sometimes to do trials with technology, whether it's the showing of evidence or even video conferencing. Working towards being able to do video conferencing with inmates, maybe from other jails and even here from our jail. The online court forms and local rules, those type of things are just some of the smaller aspects of technology there. But I feel like my passion of trying to help, I can't fix it all myself, and no one person can, but involving the community to help with those pillars is why I feel like I could be the next White County Circuit Court judge.
Okay, Jason, do you have anything else that you want to add before I boot you out of here?
a little known fact, and not a lot of people, I think how I forget the year, but my grandfather, Little Joe Benedict, brought pizzas to Monticello. So it was Little Joe's Pizza out on Rickey Road. It's where Esmeralda's currently is. And my mom and her big family of the Applegates lived across the street. So almost all the Applegates worked as waitresses or worked in the bar at where my dad was managing Little Joe's Pizza. So I guess if Little Joe never brought his pizzas to Monticello, I wouldn't be here. So that's just a fun little fact there that I just always thought was funny.
Well, thank you, Jason, for coming in and chatting with us about your run for judge. We really appreciate it. Remember to get out and vote on May the 8th.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Jason Thompson running for White County Circuit Court Judge. We will be back with another interview. Diego Morales will be in just a couple of minutes. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Brandi.